Nothing is better than a homemade bar, and these peanut butter fingers are definitely one of the best. These sound decadent, and they are, but they're also really easy. A quick crust with some peanut butter, oatmeal, flour of course, pressed into a pan, baked off, and then topped with some chocolate chips and a peanut butter drizzle, all spread over the top. These are gonna be your new favorite bar to make, and it's all coming up on today's Wise Guide. Nostalgic recipes are one of my favorite because everything I love to do, especially in the kitchen, came from both of my grandmas and my mom. They all taught me everything I know, and the recipes that they loved are the ones I go back to time and again. Not only because they have great memories with them, but because they're delicious, easy, and just good homemade food. These bars are exactly one of those recipes, and soon they're gonna be in your book too. Like many other things, you wanna start with creaming some butter and sugars. In the bowl of your mixer, just put some butter, white sugar, and brown sugar. Mix it until it's completely combined, creamy, sticking to the sides, and fluffed up a little bit. At this point, I know you know how to cream these things. Add 1 egg, some peanut butter. I mean, seriously, couldn't we just add peanut butter to everything? Baking soda, salt, and vanilla. There's something about peanut butter and vanilla. As soon as those two things just hit the bowl, the smell, it gets me every time. Blend that up till it's really well combined. Scrape down the bowl because it is gonna get stuck to the side and the bottom and may not mix evenly. Add the flour. I like to scoop mine with a scoop when I remember, sometimes I forget, and then just level it off because otherwise you kind of pack it in and you get a lot more flour than you think. And you get dry, coarse brownies and no one wants that. And the oatmeal. I love the old-fashioned rolled oats. They're just good in any recipe. I think as soon as any recipe has rolled oats, it's just one of those homey good recipes. Mix those up till they're really well combined, and then just prepare your pan. Just spray the pan well with baking spray because you don't want these to stick. Remove the bowl from the mixer, clean off the paddle. I try to do it with a spatula, but I always end up with my fingers cleaning it because honestly, how else do you clean all those nooks and crannies? Yeah, I know you agree. Spread out the batter evenly to the bottom of the pan. It's gonna be a thin layer, so it's gonna take a while. And of course, since you spray it with baking spray and it is nonstick, it's good when it bakes, but it's bad for spreading. So it's gonna take a little bit of time, but just spread it out into an even layer. Make sure to get it into the corners and all the edges. Once you've it spread out, just put it right into your preheated oven and bake it until it is set and the edges are golden. I love peanut butter baking. It just smells good. Just like, homey. While it's in the oven, you can just prepare your peanut butter glaze. We're gonna need this at the end, but it's nice to have it done. In a little bowl, just combine some powdered sugar, peanut butter, and heavy cream. I know, it couldn't be any easier. Mix that together till it's really well combined and there are no lumps, and then just set it aside till we're ready to use. Once the bars are done, just remove them from the oven and then sprinkle on some chocolate chips. Just let the chocolate chips sit and hang out a while. Just kind of pour yourself a cup of coffee and think of all the delicious time you're gonna have eating these bars. After about 5 minutes on those hot bars, they should be ready to spread. They should be all melted. Just kind of spread them. You don't have to be careful about it being too pretty because once all the chocolate is spread out, you can now pick up that delicious peanut butter. I'm gonna call it a drizzle, but we're gonna spoon it on. Dollop that prepared peanut butter and sugar glaze right on top, just in spoonfuls all over. It doesn't really matter. Once it's all on, you're just gonna take that same spatula and spread it all around. At first, you're gonna think, well, this is really ugly, or this is gonna look gross. Just keep spreading. It kind of melts with the chocolate, has some delicious swirls, kind of goes all together, and then you can lick the spatula at the end, which is really my favorite part because who doesn't love that? Just spread it all out, leave some nice big like waves in there so you can really see it and see some of that chocolate at the bottom. Seriously, this is just, you can just take the time and do this however much you want because who doesn't want to do this? It is one of the most comforting things in the world. Once it's spread out, you just need to make sure these cool completely because that top chocolate and peanut butter glaze is gonna need to set. Otherwise it's gonna get everywhere, and it's a lot prettier if it sets when you cut it. When they're all cooled, you can cut them up. They are called peanut butter fingers, so cut them up longer if you want to, or in squares. Serve it however you want. These, again, are perfect in the freezer, as all good old recipes are, because that's what they meant to do. They had to make ahead and serve them when they needed them. But if you eat them all, I won't tell anyone. If you have been loving these nostalgic recipes as much as I have, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I love to hear from you and know what your favorite recipes are too. Until next time, happy baking.